the Townsville Breakwater Entertainment Centre. For this clash, the Townsville McDonald Suns playing host to the Illawarra Hawks. Both sides last game losers, the Hawks going down to the Magic, the Suns having that disastrous road trip, or really disappointing road trip against the Newcastle Falcons and the Sydney Kings. Tonight, Trevor Roberts joins me again. Well, Trevor, both sides play a very up-tempo game. Obviously, the Suns are going to try and exploit that against the Hawks.
Well, I think Brendan Joyce has indicated that he feels he has an advantage with the big players, that he may have a little bit more depth there than the Suns. In saying that, I think he may slow the game down a little bit and try and make the Suns play in half court. I think the Suns are going to run like they have been. It's been a successful formula. But both teams have 5 or 6 players scoring in double figures. A close one, I like the Suns.
OK, well, you just mentioned about the inside players. Before we go to the starting 5, this Ritter, apparently he's been averaging something like 25 points a game, which should be interesting, him up against Tyson.
Well, 25 points, 7 rebounds. Clarence at 22 points and 14 rebounds. So there's a big rebounding advantage. And look out for Cooks coming off the bench. He's been in the CBA a while and not picked up by the NBL, but still a very good player.
Well, let's have a look at the starting lineups and how they match up from the start. Brian Edwards, he's the other import for the Hawks, and Glenn Saville, Matty Zorner, they're the big guys for the Hawks. For the Suns, well, that's the 5, Derek Rucker and Simon Curl. Shane Heal said tonight on 10 News that they're the best backcourt combination in Australia at the moment, so he's looking for a big game. Curl, can he repeat his 49-point effort against the Sydney Kings? I think from a Suns fan's point of view, let's hope so.
Well, they certainly will, and that's a big rap from Shane Heal for those 2 players. Yeah, the bench there for the Suns, Brad Davidson I like. Grant Kruger has been playing some excellent minutes for the Suns coming off the bench. There may be a bit of time for Shane Froling tonight against a big lineup for the Hawks. Lachlan Armfield hasn't played a lot but can turn a game. And Eric Cooks, as I said before, I like. He's a very good player with a lot of experience.
And the Hawks, the Suns in their traditional gold, the Hawks the white and red strip. The Suns get first possession through Derek Rucker, the skipper, looking for a big game tonight. Has only hit 14 of something like 46 three-point shots, and he's not happy with that performance. With us is David Blades. Bladesy, the word from the Suns camp, can they do it?
Oh, definitely, mate. Their confidence is fairly high after, they're looking at grabbing a win here after a couple of losses last weekend. Mark's really concentrating tonight on shutting down the Australian continent of the Illawarra Hawks, because that's what's hurt us in the previous years. And I think they really need to go inside like they just have there to Tony, a nice 2 points. Into Tony D'Ambrosis and to Clarence, because they're the second and third highest percentage scorers in the league at the moment.
Super pass from Clarence Tyson to find the unmarked Tony D'Ambrosis. Suns lead 2-0. Terry Johnson did have a stint with the Cairns Marlins in the CBA. This is Brian, the new import for the Illawarra Hawks, Brian Edwards. So the 2 new imports for the Hawks this season. Oh, nice back play from Simon Curl. The fadeaway jumper doesn't go. And big Matty Zorner with those arms. Oh, they're huge.
Well, it's a big lineup there for the Illawarra Hawks. They're going with the three big players up front right from the word go. Johnson looking for the mid-range jumper. But the Suns, I think, were going to run. They're going to push this team up and down the floor a lot. The one thing about big players is if you run them hard, they can become a liability to the other team rather than an asset in the open court. The travel call there on Tony D'Ambrosis with that drop step move. But as I was going to say, the Suns aren't as big, but their big men are quicker. So sometimes speed against size can be an asset. It's going to be interesting to see which team can take the most advantage out of their particular assets.
Not much separating these 2 teams statistically as Matty Zorner backs in on Tyson. And eventually, still no basket for the Hawks. They run and gun again. The Suns, they look good in the open court. D'Ambrosis can't make them pay, but he will go to the charity stripe. Yeah, not much separating these 2 sides statistically anyway. Averaging something like 36 to 37 rebounds each, and around about the 104-105 mark scoring-wise. But the Suns really have done defensive jobs on their opposing team, only holding them to 102 compared to the Hawks' 113. And that could be the difference.
Well, that in this league, a 10-point margin can be enough, or it is basically what you're seeing in most of the games. They're fairly close contests. I think for the Suns, though, there is an advantage on the offensive end in so much that they're scoring at 54% from the field, which is the best in the league. The Hawks are at 44. But the Hawks offensively with their big players, if the Suns can't keep them away from the boards, the percentages won't matter because they'll be picking up second and third options. Suns going to full court trap there, but the Hawks just slowing it down.
Oh, Ritter, one of the imports for the Hawks, finds his first basket for the night. It's a nice one too for a big inside player. getting out a bit and finding range. That'll be a Suns possession with 22 seconds left on the shot clock.
Most coaches rub their hands together pretty hard when they find a big guy, that kind of player that can shoot from that range. There's not too many around.
This is Cameron. Been shooting a lot lately and finding range as well. Curl looking for the give and go. It wasn't there. Brian Edwards now for the Illawarra Hawks. 4 plays 2 at this early stage. Nice outside shot from Glenn Saville, who really has been stepping up for the Hawks. Curl now. Inside to Tice. Super pass again from Clarence Tyson. Racking up the assists already, the big man, to find D'Ambrosis.
The Hawks' defence at the back, they're a little bit lax at the moment. There's been 2 easy passes inside. They are good passes, but the space is there because the Hawks players are really not denying D'Ambrosis the ball. They're probably watching Tyson a little too much.
Edwards from way out. Doesn't go. Ritter picks up the scraps for the Hawks. They set the play again. A new 30-second shot clock. Saville inside to Zorner. He goes to work. Ooh, the hold has been called on Tyson first before the charge.
Get another look at this. Just see if Clarence reaches first. Oh, there wasn't a lot there, but they did have the hands in. Referees perhaps wanting to establish something early too at this stage of the game. I think he'd had the hands out of the way. He might have picked up the charge foul though.
Good position. A bit of stoppage in play at the moment. Referee Bob Ving just over to the score bench to check out what's been happening. I think I'm not too sure what that was all about, but it's been worked out and rectified. The score remains 6-5. Tyson does well, steals the ball of Zorner and gives it to Curl. This is Rucker now. Outside to Curl, the long-range bomb doesn't go. The Hawks get possession through Terry Johnson. The guard for the Illawarra Hawks brings it up and gives it to his big man in Ritter. He's very quick too, goes left. And it'll be a Hawks possession.
So far the Suns have been able to contain that situation on their defensive end. There hasn't been too many offensive boards for the Hawks up till now. The big guys are coming in, but the Suns are keeping pretty good position, boxing out away from the boards.
This is Saville. Brings D'Ambrosis out and jams it home. Says, I'm not mucking around, it's going straight in. High percentage shot from Glenn Saville.
Well, just give them a rap on their defence and some guy comes in and says, okay, this is my house, I'll own it.
Rucker now. The Suns being patient in offence. Just looking for the open man, the give and go. Outside to Curl, back inside to Tyson. It's no good and the Hawks come away with it. This is Brian Edwards. Ritter for 3, the big man, and it's nothing but air.
A little bit of impatience there on the last 2 trips down, one from the Suns and then from Ritter. You know, the Suns, if they're going to break down that big matchups inside, and need to be moving a lot more, reversing the ball from one side of the floor to the other. Even that's a quick shot from Rucker with a lot of pressure on it.
Tyson does well to pick up the scraps. Rucker again comes in a little closer this time and nails it. And the Suns retain their 1-point lead, 8-7. Edwards calling the shots for the Illawarra Hawks. The easy screen and roll for Matty Zorner. And back to basic basketball works for the Illawarra Hawks.
Again, the patience, that's what was required at the time.
Good work from D'Ambrosis, running the floor quickly, and Tyson does well. He had about 3 Hawks players around him, but still managed to get the shot away. Edwards again. 10-9. Edwards thought about the shot. Found Zorner. High percentage from the base is good.
Well, the Suns need to be more aggressive on that pick and roll situation there. They've really got to attack Edwards as he comes off with the ball and not allow him just to freely move the ball onto Zorner. Zorner's getting a look at too much space. And the Suns out at that 3-point line again. Again, I'll say I think they need to run the ball around a little bit more and get later into the shot clock. Edwards
gets around Rucker with ease. And the Hawks now, they lead by 3, 13-10. For the Suns, just losing their way a little bit in the last couple of plays. D'Ambrosis gets it to Curl, thought about it. Nice give and go to Clarence Tyson. Rims in, comes straight back out. Good hands from Brian Edwards, and he sends the Hawks away. It's 1-on-3. Edwards is alone, and he's been called for the travel. Substitution for the Suns as Grant Kruger checks in for D'Ambrosis. We've got a timeout called. And not surprisingly, the Suns are a little concerned. They're trailing by 3. The Hawks are up 13-10.
Everybody, it's, unless you didn't know, it's Brock's birthday.
Possession. The give and go from Rucker to Tyson. Back to Rucker, and he nails the three-pointer, Derek Rucker. That'll give him a lot of confidence. And he ties it all up. 13 apiece. Inside to Zorna. Can't hold on to it. Tyson says, I'll take it, and I'll show you what to do with it. He gives it to his skipper in Rucker. Rucker now, plenty of confidence. Driving strong to the hoop. And the foul has been called.
It'll be a baseline ball though. Rucker wasn't shooting, he was looking to pass off. The Suns getting an opportunity to run an inbounds play in close. And once again, have a look for someone to score or shoot from behind that double post. There's Cooks coming into the match for Ritter. We talked about him earlier. He was in the, here's Steve Price, the Channel 10 weatherman, making a welcome return to the furnace.
Rucker now goes to work on Johnson. Tyson backing in on Zorna. Finds an open Simon Curl. He's long on that shot. Kruger did have it, but Cooks took it straight off him. And the Hawks will retain possession. 4 substitutions for the Illawarra Hawks. Terry Johnson takes a break. And young Matt Campbell checks into the game. This is Saville. Zorna. Nice pass inside to Matt Campbell. His first touch produces 2 points.
Well, pretty much a softening up period here at the moment. Neither team looks like they're going to take a grip on the game at this early stage, and I guess no one ever normally does in this league. It's usually about the third quarter you start to see someone show a bit, but Simon Curl not finding range just yet. The Suns will be hoping that some of those mid-range to long-range jumpers that he's taking start to find the hole, because it will drag the defence out away from the basket a bit, and in so doing open up some of the inside players.
Well, the Suns going to their bench. Kieran Mitchell-Hill and Brad Davidson checking into the game. Going for a bit more speed as well. Oh, Mitchell-Hill left alone. Well, it worked to perfection. He was screaming for it. It took a while for Davidson to find him, but it still produced 2 points. Still squared up at 15. Cooks into Zorna now. Perimeter passing from the Illawarra Hawks. Brian Edwards long on the shot. Eric Cooks gets a hand to it, but the Suns are away in transition through Rucker. Inside to Tyson. You've got to be kidding, Clarence. He didn't quite have possession, but he threw up a shot. It wasn't that far off either.
Well, this Suns rotation bringing Davidson in. Is Mitchell-Hill free again on the left side? Doesn't go this time, but I think it could be a foul over the back, is it? Well, Davidson's been called for backing in. But Davidson coming on the floor frees up Rucker to go to the 2 spot or the off guard, which allows him an opportunity to run off screens and look to shoot a little more. It's a bit tougher off the dribble from the top. You'll get double teamed a lot. So Davidson will be there to feed the ball to Rucker and perhaps find his big guys. And right now, put a lot of pressure on Edwards.
Yeah, little fox terrier is Brad Davidson. Very much the Wayne Larkins mould. Won't take a backward step from anyone. Eric Cooks goes to work and he gets a foul. So to the charity stripe he travels.
Eric Cooks, as we talked about earlier off camera, mate, was actually a player that the Suns had chased at one stage a couple of years ago. We were talking to him about coming to the club. Had quite a while in the CBA. I'm not sure how many years, but certainly the last 5 or 6 years. He's qualified or naturalised as an Australian and therefore is able to come into the league as such, which has helped him to get a career in the league, because prior to that, none of the NBL clubs had picked him up. But he's certainly a very good player.
Well, maybe he was just very happy in Ballarat and really didn't want to move, did he?
Well, they were winning national championships in the CBA, so I guess that's good enough.
He's averaging 10 points, so that's not bad for coming off the bench. Kieran Mitchell-Hill goes up strong, but there's nothing but Hawks players there, and they just grab it off him. Matty Campbell now. Saville. Edwards calls the shots for the Hawks, tells him what he wants his players to run. Brad Davidson's been called for another foul. That's his second.
He's just got to be a little wary not to be over-aggressive and pick up a couple of little cheap ones like that. You can put a lot of pressure on the player. Once you get him to pick it up after he's dribbled, that's the time to really get all over your man.
Rucker on Edwards. Saville goes baseline. Oh, nice pass inside to Eric Cooks. Davidson eventually gets it, does he? Yes. And he finds Rucker. Good work from Brad Davidson. Rucker now, through the legs. He loses possession, gets it back. We've got a foul called, though.
That wasn't the prettiest piece of play coming down the floor. A great deal of desperation from Davidson first up. Rucker finding some space into the lane, but you can see the size of the big players not allowing him to get that ball in the air, and didn't seem to be a lot in that. But that's not, Derek's not going to say, here, you can have it.
Very ticky touch, that one. It'll be a baseline ball for the Suns with a new 30-second shot clock, so plenty of time. No need to rush it, and Rucker just settles it right down. Screen set by Panisi, but Rucker goes the other way. They're putting a lot of pressure on Derek Rucker, but somehow the Suns come up with it, and Panisi finishes it off.
David Panisi will rub his hands together tonight. With his size, the Suns, even though he's a rookie, you're going to probably use him a bit tonight because they simply have to get the bigger players out on the floor to compete with the Hawks.
Kruger standing his ground. Campbell, his first touch produced two. That one not quite a three-pointer. Perimeter passing again from the Hawks. Inside to Cooks. Backs in on Panisi. Oh, the nice fadeaway jumper lands too.
One of the toughest shots in the game to defend is that fadeaway jump shot. You get some contact with the defensive player, bounce off him, lean away. Defense cannot reach the shot.
Good hands from the Hawks. Their defensive pressure is really putting it up on the Suns. Kruger sets the screen. Rucker goes the other way again. It's come off a foot, and it's come off a Suns boot, so it'll be a Hawks possession.
The Hawks defense doing a pretty good job right now of frustrating the Suns. They're not allowing the kind of ball movement that they normally get. And Derek Rucker coming off those the pick and roll and the penetration to the basket is finding it very hard to get space to even get the shot away.
For the Suns now, can they up the tempo? Oh, Glenn Saville putting on a show. Goes baseline and just jams it home again. So the Suns now just have to start being worried. We've got David Blades on the Suns bench, and Bladesy, you said that Greggy wanted to shut down the Australian content, and they're the ones doing all the scoring at the moment for the Hawks. Bladesy, are you there?
Yeah,
He's gone to the bar. No,
yeah.
I thought you'd gone to the bar already.
It's exactly what Braggy had said, and as you see, we've had Zorna knock a few down, and we've had what's his name, Saville step in, and they're the sort of players that Braggy had said they wanted to shut down. So it's not going to plan at the moment.
Don't forget, if you go to the bar, you've got to get us one. We've got something called there. It's
travel called on Derek Rucker. He was called for, the referee considered that the ball was not released before he came back to the floor on that one. Just have another quick look at this. Derek Rucker coming in. Does he get rid of it before he's down? Boys, touch and go.
It's all academic. It's a Hawks possession. And the score is 20-17 in favour of the visitors. Ritter for two. He's been absolutely hammered by Grant Kruger. It's a bit of a how do you do. I don't think he was on the floor, so he'll probably go to the charity stripe for two shots, which he does.
I believe it was a shot still in action. You're absolutely right. But Grant not picking up the kind of fouls this season that we saw of him last year. He's a lot fitter, he's a lot quicker. Substitution there coming from the Suns again. We've got both Clarence Tyson and Derek Rucker out of the game at the moment. Simon Curl back on the floor. Interesting move from Mark Bragg, just probably wanting to rest those guys before the quarter-time break, and I think Rucker in particular is starting to look a little frustrated, so a couple of minutes on the bench would be good value for him.
Well, the Hawks stretching their lead out to 4 with Clayton Ritter. And he gets them both. So the Hawks now extending their defence, putting a bit of pressure on. Brad Davidson splits them and does well. Curl now. Out to Davidson. Good ball movement from the Suns. Finds an open and unmarked. Kieron Mitchell-Hill had plenty of time to knock that one down, and good work from Brad Davidson. He got the charge foul. Well, he might be only small in stature, but he's certainly big on heart, Brad Davidson.
The Suns' ball movement last time down the floor was a heck of a lot better. Finding a player with a bit of space to shoot this time. Penetration is good if you can kick it out. And there, speaking of a player who knows what to do with it on penetration, Shane Heal there in the Suns box tonight.
Just enjoying the game. He's up here for a couple of days break to watch his good mate Simon Curl go around, and said that Curl and Rucker were going to put on a show tonight. Well, at the moment, it really is Glenn Saville who's putting on a show. A couple of dunks. And Kruger at the line for 2 shots. Gets them well, gets them both, the big fella, to tie it all up again at 22 apiece. Under 40 seconds left to play in the first turn. Mitchell here, closely guarding. Curl comes up with possession. So they'll just wind the shot clock down and use every bit of this 30 seconds. Bit of a differential, around about 6 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. Curl, not a good pass, but he does well to pick it back up. Kruger for 3!
Eh?
Oh, Grant Kruger! What a legend! Oh, he'll be asking for video replay after that.
Answers that.
Oh, Campbell retaliates, but what a shot from Grant Kruger. It's still 25 apiece. We've got a stoppage. It'll be a Hawks possession with 0.7 seconds left to play.
It'll be Wyatt Earp to get this one away.
Well, Armfield gets the shot away, but it doesn't count. So at quarter time, well, it's all squared up, 25 apiece. To 25 apiece. And everyone applauding for Shane Heal, who's enjoying the basketball action here tonight. So as we said, not really much separating these two teams, and it could very well go down to the wire.
Classic battle of size versus speed too, and both teams getting it done, but still not real pretty yet. And that's, I guess, that's the Illawarra Hawks. There's Jason Cameron once more from the three-point line.
Well executed play to get the open Jason Cameron, and he lands the three-pointer. Now the Hawks. This is Edwards. Just being patient in offense as well. Down to 12 seconds on the shot clock. Edwards looking to go one-on-one on Rucker. Oh, nice play from Brian Edwards.
It's pretty tough to match up and help in that situation too. Edwards got in the middle of the keyway. If you go help on him, he's going to get it to someone else who's probably going to jam it home on you.
Inside to Tyson. Back out to Cameron. The give and go again for Tyson. It's a two-man basketball game at the moment. Gets it to Curl now. Back to Tyson. Look to get it quickly back to Curl, but the hands were there from the Hawks. This is Edwards now. Saville inside to Zorner. Pass wasn't good, so he flicks it back out. Double team from the Suns. Now Zorner goes to work.
We can see that mismatch down in there. Clarence Tyson playing inside Zorner. If he plays in front, it's going to be lobbed over him. He's playing behind, and Zorner's size is simply more than Clarence can deal with. So the Suns have been content to at least make him shoot a mid-range jump shot. Curl tries again from the three-point line. It's still not going for him.
The big boy, 210 centimetres. Well, these big players want to shoot from outside tonight at the moment. Rucker, very quick, tries to retaliate and get two, but he gets the foul on Brian Edwards and will go to the line for 2 shots.
And there clearly again, the Suns pushing it up the floor, looking to try and make the defence on the Hawks run, particularly their big guys. But the Hawks had 3 guys back that time, but again, it's Rucker's quickness. You get a smaller, quicker player up against the big guys, he's going to slip by you and probably pick up those little fouls like that, the block foul. Still not happy with his shooting, Derek, though, is he? It's not the Derek Rucker that we know.
Yeah, there's a reason, but he won't let us say why.
Do you know? You got the secret,
I know the reason, but he won't let me say it. But there is a reason, and he doesn't want to talk about it because he says it's just making excuses. I suppose the harder you try, the shots just won't happen.
Yeah, sometimes the way to do it is shoot yourself out of the problem, but you just can't do that in a game like this where it's close. If you've got an opportunity against the team, if you're up by a few, maybe you'll take some extra shots. There's Shane Froling coming in.
250th NBL game for Shane Froling. It's a long career. He's suffering from Ross River fever this year. And hasn't been getting much court time, but when he is out there, he gives it 110%. The Hawks get 2 points to take the lead back, 31-29. Inside to D. Ambrosius. Tyson taking a breather. Curl to Cameron. He goes baseline, he's unmarked. Nice move from Jason Cameron, doesn't go though. Then the Hawks are away through Brian Edwards. Back to Ritter, inside to Zorner. Ritter again for three. Well, if you keep trying, you're eventually going to get one. But at the moment, he's none from about three from out there. I don't think Brendan Joyce would be too happy, but he's not really blowing up, so maybe it is a set play.
Well, it depends. I mean, we really have not seen a lot of the Hawks play other than basically highlights, and you just don't know how well he shoots from out there. I mean, maybe he is just having an off night. Certainly the coach is not saying too much about it.
This is Dean McDonald. He's got a fairly good, solid, all-round Australian content, hasn't he, Brendan Joyce, when you look at the players, the likes of McDonald and Armfield and Zorner particularly. I mean, he was at the Gold Coast and no one wanted him, so he went to Illawarra and playing blinder basketball.
Who's thrown down 2 jams on the Sun. So, you know, there is a quality in his players without them being flashy. And as always, the Illawarra Hawks are known for being workmanlike, and that's the way they're doing it again tonight.
Well, he said to me at the shoot-around this morning that he's got the side, basically, if they stay together as the Suns lose possession. He just said, obviously, if he's given time, and that's the crux of the problem, I suppose. If he's given a bit of time, he could do anything. But in this league, you've really got to produce very quickly.
Well, in fact, I talked to him when he was up here last year towards the end of last season. He made similar comments. He was concerned about some of the clubs that are a little bit more financial being able to steal someone like Zorner from him. But Zorner apparently is pretty happy down there. Rucker with a little jumper. Zorner is pretty happy where he is and is happy with his own development there.
31 apiece again. Rucker's been called for the foul. Just a little hand check on Brian Edwards.
Been called on Derek Rucker. That's his first foul.
Brian Edwards giving the Hawks pretty good service out the top there too. He's very safe with the ball and he seems to read the game well. He's not overplaying his hand, but when he does go, he seems to be able to get to make something out of it.
Yeah, well, Matty Zorner's in the Australian squad. He's one of the fringe players there, so obviously the move to Illawarra has paid off. And the word today from Melbourne actually is that Mark Bradkey is talking about not playing for Australia because of the hoo-ha that happened between the Melbourne Tigers and the NBL over. I think it's a very veiled threat. It's not going to happen, but he's not too happy about the situation, Mark Bradkey.
Well, I think that'll change pretty quickly. I don't think there's any likelihood that Mark Bradkey wouldn't pull on a green and gold singlet if he got the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
But I wonder about that situation without knowing the details. It seems a bit odd that on the I think it's Brandon, is it? McDonald, I should say, on the left. I'm very surprised that Bradkey got on the floor against the 36ers at all without some official somewhere saying you couldn't play.
Oh, Jason Cameron nails a three. 34 apiece again. Yeah, you're dead right there. I mean, there has been talk about, I mean, it's ridiculous that the NBL is in Melbourne and Basketball Australia is in Sydney. They're both the same body, effectively, and they're housed in separate states. But something like that happens in basketball. And those sort of things shouldn't happen. But it did happen, and hopefully it'll be rectified and won't happen again as Brian Edwards for three nails it, so it's becoming a bit of a shootout. 38-34. The outside shooters finding range. Well, we've had our say. Back to the basketball now.
You feel better now you got that out of the system?
Yeah, I got that out of the system. D'Ambrosis works well inside. Well, you got to keep them honest, don't you?
Clayton Ritter spending a little bit more time down inside the last 2 trips and being a little bit more effective for the Hawks in there. Perhaps he needs to play inside a bit more for them.
Awkward looking shot from Dean McDonald. Inside to Froling. Looks to go baseline. Nice pass to D'Ambrosis from Shane Froling. D'Ambrosis does well to get his own rebound.
We could see a few more minutes from Froling tonight, I would think. I mean, his experience tonight out there is going to mean a heck of a lot to the Suns as a timeout is called by the Illawarra Hawks.
The score at the moment, 39-36. The Hawks still leading the home side. D'Ambrosis waiting to take his 2 free shots as the Hawks lead by 3. Averaging 15 points a game, Tony D. And he gets 1 of 2, so it's back to a 2-point ball game. This is Johnson. Not a good pass, but the Hawks retain possession. Went through the hands of one player and into the hands of Matty Zorner. And he makes it count.
A little deflection on this pass coming in. A big deflection, I should say. But coming the right way for the Hawks, straight to Zorner. Froling trying to get to it, and I think probably would have been content to give up the foul had Zorner not scored. But Zorner, with his size, just out of Froling's reach.
Does that go down as an assist, that Ritter held it?
I don't think the stats people will be that generous.
0.2 of a second. Rucker. 41 plays 37, 5:55 left to play in the second term. D'Ambrosis, nice move to the basket. And he'll get the bonus as well.
Tony D'Ambrosis making a good move there and showing a bit of speed. We see him down in the block playing there for the Suns, but you know, with the Gold Coast last year and other players in the lineup, he didn't always play inside with his back to the basket. He's quite capable of penetrating off the dribble. Substitution there. Cook's coming back in for Ritter for the Hawks. He was 1 of 2 last time, Ken, and he's a 48% free throw shooter. So that was about par for the course for Tony, but that time 100%, needing only 1.
Brings it back to within 1. David Blades, anything spectacular said in that timeout just recently?
Ken, as you can see, Mark's asked the team to go into a 2-3 zone to try and clog up the middle a bit, but emphasise the fact that the players need to get out under the Hawks shooters because they've nailed a couple, and there's another one that goes up that misses, but they've nailed a few in the last bit, and to make sure that they don't get any easy shots off.
Rucker goes to work on Brian Edwards. The fadeaway jumper doesn't go. Well done from Grant Kruger, almost anyway. He got a hand to it, but the Hawks with possession through Edwards. Very quick is Brian Edwards. Saville loses possession. Couldn't quite hold on to it. Now the Suns, can they make them pay and take the lead back? Rucker just walks it up the court and signals the play. Inside to D'Ambrosis. He's done some good work recently. Strong on that case. Well, there was hands everywhere, and eventually they found a foul. It's gone on Eric Cooks.
Just picking up the foul from behind there, Cooks, and D'Ambrosis did a heck of a job in there. He's in amongst 3 Hawks players and still managed to grab the rebound. There's the Croc. I understand it's supposed to be his birthday today.
Was he 2005, they said, or something?
D'Ambrosis coming up with some valuable points the last 3 times down the floor.
Now he gets a chance to have a bit of a breather.
And big David Panisi back in, as I said before, he's going to see some extra minutes tonight with that size. He's something like around 7 foot tall in the old measure, and a big lad.
Well, as you called it, Trevor, they need someone to sort of block up that middle, don't they, with Matty Zorner also out there. Terry Johnson lost possession, but somehow got the pass to Cooks. Oh, well, that's a nice floating jumper for 2.
Well, he was a 30 points a game player in CBA, and I mean, national level CBA is a pretty good quality standard basketball, so he knows what it's all about.
Panisi sets the screen. Double teamed by the Hawks. Rucker for 2. He gets it. In fact, that play we just saw from the Hawks was the play that they were running through today at the shoot-around, the Illawarra Hawks. I can say it now. And it nearly worked to perfection on that occasion, but Rucker just got around it. Cooks. Oh, good work from Grant Kruger. And Mitchell Hill comes up with it. Now he looks to run it. Rucker gets down the floor very quickly. He got a hand, but it's been called as a foul. So Rucker to the stripe for 2. The skipper trying to inspire something.
This is Rucker coming in. Just watch to see whether the hand reaching from the right of the screen there does get him on the arm or doesn't it. I believe it was Saville on the right that was called for a stripping down the elbow there, even though the block from behind looked to be fairly clean.
So Rucker gets 1 of 2 and gives his side a 2-point buffer with 3:30 left to play. Johnson to Saville. Been kept fairly quiet in this second term, Glenn Saville. Not a good pass, and Mitchell Hill. Well, he hands it straight back, but Cameron does well to get it back off Eric Cooks. A bit of comedy of errors there from both sides. Rucker brings it out and settles it down. Gets free, Derek Rucker. And now he's starting to feel it.
Derek Rucker looking to have an influence late in this second quarter, and at the moment finding a little more space. But what the other players have got to realise, he is going to be double teamed. Any time he penetrates, they're going to make themselves available. Grant Kruger picking up a foul there, fairly clear and obvious. And 2 hands in the middle of the back, trying to shift Ritter out of the keyway. A bit hard to hide that one.
The Hawks will go to the charity stripe for 2 shots. The Suns in that situation. Every foul from here on in sends the opposing team to the line.
Clayton Ritter to the line for 2 shots.
And Ritter makes both of them. 47-45. Rucker again wasting no time. Flicks it out to Mitchell Hill. He drew 3 players, Derek Rucker. And the Suns do well to come up with it again. Panisi. Oh, good work from Eric Cooks. It was all ball. And the Hawks just settle it down, looking to run their offense again.
The Suns have switched out of that 2-3 zone again. They're back in man, so they must be mixing it up in different situations. We'll keep an eye on what they are doing, but right now it's man-to-man. Cameron on a good double team.
Jason Cameron, here we go. Is it dunk time from JC? Oh, yeah.
You see the Suns there immediately do a full-on press up the floor, just trying to force a quick error. Terry Johnson, with his experience, very cool with the ball, just slowing the game down once again.
Suns out by 4 now. Kruger standing his ground. And a bit of acting as well. Oh, Ritter is blowing up. He's furious.
Well, if we get another look at that one, perhaps, just depending on what we see, just watch Ritter's right arm as he goes to move. He tries to hook around and fends off with it. And while it's not easy to see from that angle, he certainly did extend the right forearm, which cleared Kruger. And of course, Kruger made sure that the referees noticed.
Well, he blew up. I don't know what he blew up about.
Well, Kruger never had a hand in the situation. He never had his hands in on the ball or anything. He was simply standing and holding good position, so nothing wrong with the call. Just a little bit of frustration.
Rucker looking to get around Ritter. Cameron for 3. Not a good shot from Jason Cameron on that occasion. But he was open, he had to take it. Ritter. Now, what can he do? Oh, Dean McDonald just forgot to hold on to the ball. The Suns now running it again. Rucker telling his players where to go, like every good point guard would. D'Ambrosis bounces off Eric Cooks, and Dean McDonald picks up the defensive board. Edwards into the last minute of this second turn. McDonald. Shot clock is down to 14 seconds for the Hawks. Down to 9. Edwards has to do something, and he draws the foul on D'Ambrosis.
Edwards there once again keeping the cool head. The Suns not able to control him out at the point. You watch him coming down in the lane here, lots of hands reaching, no doubt about the foul. When you get in that situation there and the players go to help, he's either going to be fouled, he'll get the shot away, or if he has to, he can find another player underneath the net.
We've got a timeout called by the coaching staff of the McDonald Suns. David Blades will go in there just to see the reason for that with 43 seconds left to play. So we can get our cameras in there as well.
Get an artist in and call it still life. Well, you certainly could. We've even got Peter Lindsay here.
We have a couple of free throws. We might be able to hear Mark Bragg first.
We'll end up with a couple of deck chairs. I'm wondering what he's been up to while I've been away.
Next time down, you want to run a set or you want to come down and run motion? The box one.
But when you think about it, what's he been doing? Where's our happy birthday clock
Come down
sign?
and just get a good shot by motioning.
There's a
Okay?
few
Get a good
here.
shot by motioning.
Just discussing what they're going to do offensively there, whether they're going to run motion, which is basically pass move, don't have anyone standing around, set some picks on the ball or away from it. But, 40 seconds to go, 43 seconds. The Hawks got 2 free throws. If they hit those 2, it's a 2-point ball game. I guess they just simply wanted to reinforce to the players that they don't rush anything late in the quarter. I mean, you have 5 timeouts in this game, and if you don't use the 2 you have in the first half, you don't get 4 in the second half. So you might as well use that timeout, give your players a breather, and give the guy going to the line a little bit more time to think about the free throws.
I was just going to say, sometimes it is a psychological thing, isn't it? Just to make the guy go off his shot a little. It didn't work on that occasion. Well, Blades, we had it tipped in by Eric Cooks. So that's not what the Suns wanted. Blades, we basically heard Mark Bragg. He talked about running the motion offense on this play.
Yeah, what they were saying was that Derek's been trying to take the guy that's defending him on one-on-one, and what they're saying is to move the ball around, make 5 or 6 passes, and then isolate him so that his man has to work a bit before he tries to isolate him.
Well, it didn't work on that occasion. A turnover by the Suns. So the Hawks now have a chance to go to the halftime break with a lead. They trail by 1. You can see how much time is remaining. Edwards looking to go one-on-one, gets away the 3-point bomb. Doesn't go. Rucker now gives it to Mitchell Hill. Time running out. He props, lands it, and connects. So the Suns, well, go to the halftime break with a 3-point buffer thanks to Kieron Mitchell Hill. 51 plays 48. Second half, third quarter action about to get underway here at the Townsville Breakwater Entertainment Centre. Not much in it, 51-48, and the stats basically indicate that, Trevor. Field shooting percentage, 52 for the Hawks compared to the Suns' 43. And 3-point field shooting percentage, 26, 4 of 15 for the Hawks compared to 50 for the Suns at 5 of 10. And the rebounding?
Well, the rebounding, the Suns actually lead the way there with 23 compared to 19. And in fact, they've been able to pull down 10 offensive boards against the Hawks, which I think is a pretty significant factor for them. The Hawks being as big as they are, it's pretty tough to get the ball back for a second opportunity.
And Clarence Tyson only playing 9 minutes 47 in that first half of basketball. And he has racked up 3 personal fouls. So that is more than likely the reason why we haven't seen much of Tyson. But he is out there now, number 54. Ritter for 3. He nails it eventually. His first of about 4 or 5 attempts for Clayton Ritter.
That is, in fact, his 4th attempt, and he is 1 of 4.
Tyson, good work from D'Ambrosius to get it back in, but he can't make him pay. So the Hawks now through Brian Edwards, looking to get it inside. Still looking. Nothing happening inside for the Hawks at the moment. Saville, 2 big dunks in that first half. This is Terry Johnson for 3. The Suns fight over between Tyson and Rucker. Eventually they come away with it. Curl now. Inside to D'Ambrosius. Goes baseline. Nice move from D'Ambrosius. Strong play. Johnson now to Edwards. Curl has the job on Brian Edwards at this stage. Saville. Shot clock down to 10 seconds for the Hawks. Time running out. Saville to Johnson. Shot clock is at 3. They're running out. I think they've forgotten about it. No, they haven't. Ritter. And the shot clock at 1 second. He knocks down a 2-pointer. And it's tied up again at 53 apiece.
Well, we talked to Bladesy before half-time, and after that timeout, and they talked about Derek Rucker not having the ball on the floor as much and moving the ball a little more earlier. There's Curl finding his way to the hole in the back cut, and that's been a lean period for Curl tonight too. They'll be really keen to see, the Suns will be very keen to see Curl light up this half and maybe give them a break in the game that they badly need.
Wayward pass from the Hawks, so the Suns now looking to expand on this 2-point lead. Curl. Inside to Tyson, backing in. Tries to draw a couple of players, or Simon Curl just puts his foot on the side. He's not happy about it.
Not much you can do about out of bounds. Out of bounds is out. Once again, the Suns just not being able to settle into the offense or the smooth running offense that we've seen from them in the earlier stages of the season that they've been very successful with. But let's give some credit to the Hawks. They've done a heck of a job tonight of spoiling the Suns' options. Curl has not had a good look at a shot all night long. Rucker's been forced to put it down a lot. And of course, the big guys like Clarence Tyson inside are not finding a lot of room. I am surprised, though, the number of shots that Ritter is having from the 3-point line for the Hawks.
Oh, D'Ambrosius, well, he's really leading the way in terms of scoring for the Suns. He had 14 up until half-time. And Simon Curl held scoreless in that first half. His first 2 points just coming a while ago. D'Ambrosius, well, he is having a big game, and him and Rucker are really just keeping the Suns in it, basically.
Well, that's the way it's been tonight, and Derek Rucker shooting the ball a little better. Must be a little more happier with his form. But just on that play then, Ritter got caught out. I don't know what he was doing, talking to one of the other players on the side and on his team. And D'Ambrosius steps under the ring, gets an inbounds pass right under the net where you should never get it on a baseline inbounds play.
D'Ambrosius does well to get them both and give his side a 4-point lead. Ritter, the big pass to Zorner. The baseball pass, it was almost out of the stadium.
The Suns there jumping straight on the Hawks in that full court pressure situation out of the free throws. They're doing it every time someone knocks down a free throw. Go straight after the ball hard.
Tyson playing the point guard role at the moment. To Rucker, inside to D'Ambrosius. He does well again to get that inside position, but can't make it count on that occasion.
And that's the size of the Hawks. Even though D'Ambrosius got by, Ritter was still able to reach the ball from behind and do it cleanly.
Almost a steal from Derek Rucker. 23 seconds on the shot clock. See Mark Bragg on picture there. Very pensive looking. Saville gets around his player. D'Ambrosis. Oh, he was standing his ground, but he's been called for a hands foul.
Well, maybe we don't have a look at that, unfortunately, but he seemed to have pretty solid position for his for a charge foul, perhaps, but he has been called, as you said, for a hands foul. A bit hard to see from here whether he had hands in there or not, but he certainly, the ball was held down. Saville's been matched up with Derek Rucker the last few trips down the floor too. I'm surprised that the Hawks haven't recognised that and taken Saville down into the block. I mean, I know he does play on the perimeter for them, but he's got a significant size and height advantage there. I would have thought that as soon as they recognised that, they may have taken him down. The Hawks going into a zone trap there, 2 of their own, and a backcourt violation for Edwards, unfortunately catching it either side of the line. And he's saying, yes, I pivoted to the forward court, but in actual fact, he picked his foot up once and put it back down again before he pivoted. But in the heat of the moment, he wasn't sure.
2-point ball game, 57-55, Suns in front. This is Rucker. She gets around Maddie Campbell with ease. Curl now, can he land this one? No. So an off night shooting-wise for Curl. He does well though.
Oh, what a block.
Well, Glenn Saville certainly showing the hops, just getting up there. Well, we saw him with 2 dunks in the first half, so we know he can jump. Time to perfection on that occasion. D'Ambrosis, good move. Well, he found there was no other option, so he decided to take it to the hoop himself. And now a chance for a 3-point play.
Number 52, Glenn Ritter, that's his 4th foul.
Clayton Ritter picking up his 4th foul on this play. He's been a pretty frustrated player out there tonight. Clear and obviously a foul. He wasn't happy about it, but you can see him nudging D'Ambrosis as he got by. Just simply wasn't quick enough to get front position on him. And D'Ambrosis doing a hell of a job for the Suns in this game.
Now they're extending their defence again, the Suns. They've got 10 seconds to get it over half. It's down to 9 seconds. Must be close.
10-second violation it is.
Just looking at the shot clock, it was down to 20 seconds, and as soon as it hit 20, the referees called it.
It's Brendan Joyce, arms folded, a little concerned about things. His team had 1 win from 5 matches. He'd badly or dearly love to win this one tonight.
Rucker, 13 up until half-time. Starting to find range. He's bringing them in closer. I think he's forgotten about the 3-pointer, at least for the time being. Probably a wise decision. Saville gives it to Cooks, and he gets 2. The Suns looking to run it again through Rucker. They don't waste any time. He's stripped of the ball, but it will be a Suns possession coming off the Hawks last.
And Derek just trying to do a little too much on that play that time down. Too much traffic for a spin move. When you spin, it's very hard to know what's around you.
Cameron, good ball movement from the Suns to find Tyson. He was hammered on the way up, and he says, thank you.
He's had a tough night at the office there tonight, Clarence Tyson. When he's turned around, there was no way he's being able to shoot over Matt Zorner. Matt's just far too big. He's found a way around this time and collected the foul to go with it.
How do you use your voice like that? That's amazing.
And that's just 4 points for Clarence Tyson in the game. And he makes it 5.
That free throw shooting for Tyson is a heck of a lot better this year, isn't it, compared to previous seasons?
The Suns again extending their defence, making the Hawks use up a bit of energy to get the ball up the court. Edwards. 13 seconds to get a shot away. Cooks left alone. Tyson standing his ground. Not much doubt about that. One of the easiest calls for referee on that occasion.
Well, Cooks thought about the jump shot, changed his mind. Tyson getting set. Pretty good. Cooks has put the shoulder down and caught him on the torso.
Well, we'll have a bit of a breather as the Suns starting to stretch out a bit of a handy lead, 64-57. The Suns, they lead by 7. This is Rucker. Thought about the shot. Decided to get a curl. Well, he's left alone this time. And he gets his first three-pointer of the night, Simon Curl, coming in the midway mark of the third term. And we got another timeout called.
67-57, Suns up by 10.
Can I do that? I've been wanting to do this for 2 years.
Well, the Suns just making a mini break in this game. 10 points, 67-57. Really no one up to this stage has been able to take any sort of a stranglehold on the game.
Towns.
So field goal percentages there, the Suns at 46 and the Hawks at 53. That's a reversal for the two teams when you look at their percentages so far in the season, almost exactly. 3-point shooting now at 50% for the Suns has been very important.
Pretty good from there, isn't it?
Well, 50% from out there. I mean, it's the toughest shot in the game. And when you consider that Simon Curl has not had a happy night from out there, he's just made one. He's missed a few. I see Selexum over there, I believe, with Shane Heal. Shane deciding how the game should be played. Perhaps we'll be able to talk to him later. He might be able to give us a bit of an insight in what he believes the game is going to pan out to. Vince Hinchin, I believe. Correction on that one.
Suns versus Tigers. Next drive.
Johnson. So the Suns again extending their defence. Double team, good play, but they managed to get it out. Inside to Zorna. He tried to throw it up while he was in the air, but it just didn't work. But he still got the 2 points, 67-59. Oh. Thought it was a wayward pass, but the Hawks got a piece of that, so it will be a Suns possession. Rucker.
Great pass from Rucker.
Super pass, and Tyson finishes it off well. Now the Suns are starting to play. They've toyed with their opposition for a while. Now they've come out. Oh, Edwards putting on the moves. But it's to no avail as the Suns. 4 players on 2. They decide to go for the three-pointer. It went in and came straight back out. 4-on-2 play. Hindsight, a wonderful thing.
Well, it would have. I think I would have preferred to see my players go inside on that one. Look for the 2.
You've got a foot violation, so the shot clock resets. We've got a few substitutions as well. Grant Kruger into the game. Lachlan Armfield and Clayton Ritter for the Hawks checking back in.
Both coaches have been more than prepared to use all of their bench tonight. We've seen just about every player take the floor and play some decent minutes out there.
Armfield. Oh, he nails the three-pointer, Lachlan Armfield. We just saw the bench scoring there. Both benches contributing very well. Rucker to Cameron. Inside to Kruger.
Sorry, Ken, I was just going to say there's Kruger coming off the bench and just looking at that scoring again. 20 points from the Hawks. That'll take the Suns up to 16 with that one from Kruger.
Saville to Johnson. 71-62, biggest lead we've had in the basketball game so far. Saville for 3. Doesn't go. Clarence Tyson just gets a piece of Grant Kruger on the way down. Rucker now. He's hammered. But it will be a Suns possession.
Another substitution for the Suns. Kieran Mitchell-Hill coming in for Jason Cameron. Mitchell-Hill had a good first half also. I thought he, with a couple of baskets he put away, kept the Suns in touch there as well. Easy one inside once again. We have another foul call, so Mitchell-Hill will get the opportunity to turn this into a three-point play.
And a chance to go into double figures. 9 points for Kieran Mitchell-Hill. Look at this.
This is the second time this quarter that the Hawks have been caught out, simply not paying attention to someone slipping down in the opposite side of the keyway, away from what appears to be the area where most of the action's taking place. You look away from the ball, this guy slips in behind you, and all of a sudden you've got a layup in your face.
Mitchell-Hill up to double figures, so a good contribution from him. Suns extending their defence once again, looking to stretch their lead even more. Well done from Clarence Tyson. And they're away, but a foul has been called. There was no doubt it was a foul, but the Suns were off.
Full court pressure there, causing a few problems for the Hawks. And a foul call there with Davidson trying to get the ball back up the floor to try and push it back at the Hawks. They've had a 10-second call. They've thrown a couple of passes out of bounds, or in this case, thrown it straight to Clarence Tyson. It seems to me that their big players are hiding a little bit down the far end. They really need someone coming up the floor so they can shorten their pass just over halfway. But right now, the Suns doing a good job of pressuring the ball. They'll be up there again off this free throw for sure.
And they certainly are. Substitution for the Hawks. Eric Cooks back into the game.
Eric Cooks.
Johnson. This is Lachlan Armfield. Was with the Canberra Cannons. Made a bit of room for himself. Went for the uncontested shot, but didn't go. And the Suns come up with possession.
It's Derek Rucker handling the ball. Brad Davidson's out on the floor. I thought perhaps he might go to the point, but we'll see what happens.
Tyson sets the screen for Rucker. Finds Mitchell Hill. Back to Rucker. Unmarked for three. He's short on that shot. Well, it was an open shot. He had to take it. But just not the desired result from the Suns' point of view. Cooks now for the Hawks. Ritter for three again. It has to be a set play for Clayton Ritter. He's having an enormous amount of shots from there, and then he goes inside and gets two.
Well, he's 1 of 6 from the three-point line, but he scored a few more inside. I think I'd be looking for him to be down in the low post a bit more than what he is. But you have Zorner and Cooks out there who are both playing that position, so Ritter is obviously out in the shooting forward spot.
Suns now, 14 seconds on the shot clock. Davidson. So woeful three-point shooting. Good work from Cooks, though, to come up with possession, strip Grant Kruger of the ball. Lachlan Armfield almost lost it. Still with Armfield. They're fighting over it. That'll be a travel. Eric Cooks and Matty Zorn are both fighting over the ball. That's an instant travel. And Zorn are just having a few words to say about it.
It's still it's an 11-point ball game, and as you said, it's the widest break we've seen in the game, but the Hawks need to consolidate right now leading up to this break. There's still just under 3 minutes to play. They've got to settle. They look like they've shifted to a 2-3 zone now. The Hawks just switching their defenses around, hoping to unsettle the Suns a little bit.
Davidson. To Kruger. He has that shot. He's nailed a three tonight already. And the Suns get it back. Kruger goes up strong. Oh, unlucky not to get a foul on that occasion because Eric Cooks came underneath Grant Kruger while he was in the air. At the other end of the floor, Clayton Ritter tries to get two, but Matty Zorner knocks it back for two.
Well, Ritter taking it to the rack is what loosened up Zorner on the other side. The help defense had to go to him. Zorner gets the scraps.
Davidson, he has to get the ball away. He's only got it for 5 seconds. For the Suns now. Not much happening inside there. Mitchell Hill pulls the trigger, but there's no rebounders, no gold singlets anywhere. It's all white, and Lachlan Armfield with it. 75-66, the Hawks coming back. Oh, nice move from Ritter. Finds Zorner. But equally good work from Clarence Tyson, and Rucker gets up there. And on transition gets 2 points for the Suns. Now the Hawks looking to run it. Terry Johnson with two. Bodies going everywhere.
Well, Grant Kruger asking for a foul there, but he was damn lucky not to get called for a blocking foul. He never really had any sort of position at all. The Suns sitting out wide on this zone. They've got to look to, well, there's Mitchell Hill taking it in, but what they need is a receiver, someone getting inside looking for the pass off the penetration.
Yeah, they're not really making the zone work at the moment, are they? Just passing it around.
They're right out on the perimeter. You've either got to enter the ball into the players in the post positions to try and get an inside-outside game going, or penetrate off the dribble.
77-68. 40 seconds left to play in this third quarter. Both these subs have been waiting a heck of a long time to get into the game. We haven't had any stoppages. It's just been run and gun stuff from one end of the floor to the other. Simon Curl comes in for Rucker. Cooks, nice move. Tyson, big board, and the Suns are away. What can they do on this play? Mitchell Hill. Oh, it's pretty open there.
He's still well and truly outside and just moving around the perimeter, not much movement inside.
Curl gets it back. He's a long way out, Simon Curl. Oh, good pass to Clarence Tyson. Curl tries to knock it back in. Doesn't go, and it'll be a Suns possession with 3.2 seconds on the shot clock. Or on the game clock, in fact. Curl, oh! Comes off the screen and nails a two-pointer, Simon Curl. Well, that'll keep the coaching staff a little happy. So at the last change, the Suns are in front 79-68. To get underway here at the Townsville Breakwater Entertainment Centre. Suns out to the biggest lead of the game so far. But 12 minutes of basketball left. This is Terry Johnson. Saville looks to get around Simon Curl, which he does. Awkward looking shot, but he does well to get his own rebound, Glenn Saville, and knocks it back in for two. Curl inside to D'Ambrosis. He's been the one doing all the damage. And on this occasion, we go to the line to earn 2 points.
And it's Clayton Ritter again with the foul, and that is his fifth. He's been called for reaching down with the arms as the shot was going up. Well, you can see it clearly there, and yet he complained about the call, but there's no question that was a foul. Just a very frustrated Clayton Ritter tonight. I don't think we've anywhere near seen the best of what he can do. At 25 points a game and 7 rebounds, he can obviously play, but he's had a pretty unhappy night here in Townsville.
Yeah, not much doubt about that. But this man, D'Ambrosis, has had a night he'll long remember. Very good effort from D'Ambrosis. Brian Edwards showing plenty of speed. Inside to Zorna. Out to Edwards, unmarked. This is for three, and it's good. So the Hawks now only trail by 7. Curl comes off the screen. Penetration move, nice pass to Clarence Tyson. Drew about 3 players on that occasion, Simon Curl, to find an unmarked C. Tyson.
It's one of the principles of motion offense is penetration and making sure that people get to the gaps in the defense so the ball carrier can find the open man.
Zorna. Good hands from Derek Rucker. It's clean, says the referee. He gives it to Curl. Oh, equally good work from Glenn Saville. They just came down like a ton of bricks on Simon Curl.
Well, that's something like block number 3 and 2 jams for the night. This Glenn Saville can really get off the floor.
Gets it into D'Ambrosis. Unmarked D'Ambrosis goes up strong. That's going to be a block foul.
D'Ambrosis getting the ball on the block there, and his man slipping around trying to steal the pass, turned and found an awful lot of space. Matty Zorna just trying to help from the other side of the keyway, has picked up the foul. And the Suns doing enough to hold on to that break. It's 10 points again. Something they've done this year that we've never seen from them in the past is when they're challenged by teams, they seem to be now able to find a way to go on with it.
Edwards again for 3. Short on that shot. Rucker's away. It's a one-on-one situation. Rucker and Johnson. The foul is called on Johnson. So Rucker to the line for 2.
Terry Johnson just content to give up that foul. Wasn't prepared to let Rucker get by him and get a layup. It's Rucker making the first one. And just that signal you see from him there is, of course, be ready for the trap. They'll run and set their trap once again, straight off the free throw.
He gets them both, and it is set as Trevor called it. They extend the defence, double team the ball carrier, chase everything in sight, as long as it's got a white singlet. But the Hawks do well to break it down.
Well, on that occasion, they got a pass out of the backcourt just to halfway, which is all you need to break a press down, particularly when there's 3 players committed to the ball at the far end of the floor.
Curl for 3. It's sweet. And Simon Curl liked that one.
Oh, I bet he's a little happier. He made nothing in the first half, so getting a couple right now just might light him up a little.
Well, that's the crunch part of the game too. Start knocking them down, 89 to 75. The Suns in front. The crowd now starting to make a bit of noise here at the Furnace. Good hands again, this time from Rucker to Tyson. Back to Curl. 3-on-2, now he's feeling it, Simon Curl. Well, it was a 3-on-2 situation. He opted to go for the 3-pointer. Didn't come off. Curl goes flying, and Zorner gets 2. No call.
Curl just not set. It was close, but not there in time.
So the Suns looking to settle it down now. They currently lead by 12. Rucker inside to Tyson. He goes to work. Off the glass. And the Hawks with the rebound through Brian Edwards. He props for 2. There's nothing but white singlets and Clarence Tyson in the keyway there, contesting that rebound.
It's Glenn Saville coming up there again with the points tonight. He's probably been the Hawks' best player tonight.
Curl looking to get it inside to Tyson, deflected away. Rucker tries to split him down the middle, and the foul is called.
Pitching and grabbing the arm.
Yeah, not much doubt about that foul. We go to the break with the Suns having a 10-point lead.
Mate, Brendan Joyce, the coach of the Hawks, has asked his team to really pick up their defensive intensity here and offensively to move the ball around and try and look for some easy layups to try and bridge this gap a bit. Obviously, the Suns will be looking to do a similar thing, try and put the nail in the coffin here, pick up their defence, pick up full court, and just try and push this lead out and seal the game.
Stay with us in a couple of minutes. David Blades will be tracking down Shane Heal to have a few words with him. This is the first game he's seen in the NBL since he's back. Of course, been in the States playing with the Minnesota Timberwolves in the NBA. Saville goes baseline. Tyson pulls down another rebound. Mightn't be doing too much scoring, Clarence Tyson, but you can almost guarantee he'll get his rebounds. Rucker goes baseline. Short on the shot again. And the Hawks now through Brian Edwards.
The Hawks taking a lot of quick shots the last few trips down the floor, which is what Brendan Joyce was talking about. And because you shoot it quick, you give the other team a chance to run breaks on you, and the Suns were starting to get away from them. There's Ritter inside. Good pass, Saville.
Ritter playing on 5 fouls. The next one, and he's out of the game. Brendan Joyce deciding he's got no other option but to go with it early. Still 7.5 minutes to play. Curl to Cameron. Inside to D'Ambrosius. Fronts up. Shot clock is down to 9 seconds now. Rucker. Good pass to Clarence Tyson. He held the shot back, Tyson, and he got the foul as well.
There's that penetration move and finding the open man. The important thing there is that Clarence Tyson steps inside. He doesn't stay outside to see whether Rucker's going to score or shoot with it. He goes into the hole with him, and the player with the ball can clearly see his man.
Kruger and Mitchell Hill checking back in. There's the elevator. Steps up for 2.
I'm sure we'll see a press again straight out of this free throw, provided it goes in the net, which it does. Suns just backing up a little now, just wanting to contain and not gamble too much.
Edwards, left alone. Fortunately for the Suns' point of view, it didn't go in, but a foul has been called. So I think that'll be Matthew Campbell will go to the line.
Brian Edwards just not having a real happy time from that three-point line, but a good rebound from Campbell, and Grant Kruger clearly getting across the arm.
And not determined as a shooting foul. Ritter goes to work on Kruger. White singlets everywhere. Glenn Saville and Matty Zorn are both up there. Inside to Ritter again. Spin move for Ritter, and it's 2 points. So he's decided to give the three-point shots away and go inside. Clayton Ritter.
Well, he's done a good job inside when he's been there, but again, it depends on Brendan Joyce's combinations on the floor as to whether he's going to post up or play on the perimeter.
Cameron, he thought about that three-pointer. Shot clock is down to 15 seconds. This time he'll take it, Jason Cameron. Bit wayward. And the Hawks come up with it again. They're chipping away. 10 points the difference. Edwards. Strong move, and that'll be a charge. Good position from Grant Kruger. Not much doubt about that one.
And just have a look, see how long Grant Kruger is set here. He gets across, standing, crunch. No doubt about that one.
It's the fourth foul for Brian Edwards, I should say. So both their imports in a bit of foul trouble for the Hawks. Rucker flicks it over to Mitchell Hill. Big cross-court pass. Good work from Kieran Mitchell Hill. He decided to take his player one-on-one and got the desired result. The Hawks now quickly down the floor. Ritter props for three and nails it. So they're keeping in touch. 95-86. Again, the Suns wasting no time. Kruger goes baseline, picks up his scraps and counts it.
Grant Kruger's mobility has improved so much this year, catching the ball on the perimeter and slipping by his player. Certainly a lot quicker on his feet this year, Kruger, than what he's been in the last two seasons. Well, last year with the Suns, I should say.
Yeah, he looks a lot fitter, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Ritter knocking down that three-point shot. It's clear that he's got a good shot from out there, but the Suns tonight have made sure, I guess they've done their homework during the week. I mean, the teams, the coaches scout each other very closely. And if you're doing your job as a coach, you should know the weaknesses and strengths of every player on the other team and give your players in their matchups clear instructions on how you want them to play them. And they've done a good job of making sure Ritter didn't get a look at three-point shots early in the night.
Cooks finds the open man in Matty
Tyson
Campbell.
got a hand on it.
Last is a goal 10, so it'll be 2 points for the Illawarra Hawks. 5:30 left to play. 98 plays 88. Rucker. And the Suns just looking to go on with it from here. Good screen set by Clarence Tyson. Rucker uses it. The shot's a bit wayward in the end, but it will be a Suns possession.
Substitutions again from the Suns. It's Kruger and Mitchell Hill back out. D'Ambrosis and Curl in. That was the exchange the last time the subs made a rotation.
Curl inside to Tyson. Travel has been called. Oh, those facial expressions from Tyson. Ritter rims in, but Cooks picks up the scraps and gets two. So they're still hanging in there, the Hawks. They're not going to roll over and die. Jason Cameron looking to get it to D'Ambrosis, which he does eventually. This is D'Ambrosis. Patience from the Suns now. Props for two. Oh! He's back in form, Derek Rucker.
Well, that was a tough shot, but as you called it, he's feeling it.
Cooks now. Saville. Steal from Rucker. Here we go. Dunk time. No, just the easy lay-in for Derek Rucker. Another 2 points. We've got a stoppage. It's a bit of a couple of wet spots on the floor there.
Derek Rucker doing the smart thing on that play too. It's one thing to say dunk it, but we know he can get up there if he needs to. But right now, if you rimmed out one of those, the coach would kill you.
They're extending their defence again, the Suns. 102 to 90. 4 minutes left to play.
We're gonna get it. They're gonna go for it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
Cooks. Not much happening for the Hawks at the moment. Edwards. Shot clock is down to 4 seconds. Make that 1 second. Make it all
Time's
over.
up.
Good work and good defensive pressure from the Suns. The Hawks just had nowhere to go.
Well, no motion. They're all standing. You said it right there in the middle of that call, that they were standing around and waiting for the player with the ball to do something. You've got to work very hard off the ball offensively to create.
Rucker now. Off the glass, and Tyson just cleans it right up. 104 to 90. Ritter for 2. Doesn't go. Tyson. Huge rebound. And we're away again. Through Rucker. He flicks it back into
Great pass.
Tyson. Sensational pass, Derek Rucker. He was in the air, just took his time and found the open man in Clarence Tyson. And not surprisingly, a timeout has been called, but has the horse bolted? 106 to 90. Will now go down to David Blades. He has the NBA player from Australia, Shane Heal, with him, just to get his thoughts on this game and just to find out how the NBA has been for Shane Heal.
Okay, Shane, welcome back to Australia. Our first NBL game. How are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, it's been great fun. The atmosphere here is good, and it's good to watch Derek and Simon play, especially Derek playing so well.
How have you found the transition from our our national competition here to the what's supposedly the best competition in the world?
Yeah, it was a good transition. I didn't get too many opportunities, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I think I'm a far better player from going over there, and I've learned a lot. So, hopefully I'll get a chance to prove that in the next few weeks with the Australian team.
Okay, how do you think this game's going here? Obviously, the Suns seem to be in control here. You think they'll come out with the win here?
Definitely. They've played far superior than Illawarra tonight. I think Mark Bragg did a good job changing up the tempo of the game, and as I said, no one can stop Derek Rucker tonight.
Okay, thanks very much, Shane. Good luck back in the States next year.
Thank you.
Okay, back to you, Trevor and Ken.
Good on you, Bladesy. Good to hear from Shane Heal. Obviously been frustrating for him, I suppose, coming from a starting side in Australia and going to sit, I suppose, number 9 or 10 on the bench in the NBA, but you get paid a lot of money to sit on the bench, don't you?
An awful lot of money. And you take on the word rookie when you sit on the bench there first up. And like anywhere else, you've got to serve your time first.
Well, he did get some opportunities and he made the most of them. Scored, I asked him today what his highlight was, and without a doubt he scored 5 3-pointers in 1 quarter. But next game he didn't get a look in. That's what it's all about, I suppose, as Ritter draws a foul and goes to the charity stripe for 2.
Ritter been very effective down there in the block when he's gone down inside. He's got the moves. He's quicker than some of the other players on the Hawks lineup. But yeah, that's Shane Heal. I guess we'll look at Luke Longley, I guess, as the example for Australian basketball, who didn't seem to be going anywhere, and he's just gone from strength to strength over there. One of the best centres in the league, and I really think with Shane, he is a very talented player. It's probably you just need that lucky break. There's an awful lot of great players in America who never play NBA.
That's what it's about, isn't it? That break, that opportunity and making the most of it. He's still got 2 years to go, of course, and he's contracted to Minnesota, but he doesn't really know whether he's going to be there or not, because you can get traded any minute in the NBA. He describes it as a meat market. Very much like that. You're just a commodity. If they don't want you, or someone better comes along, they'll just trade you.
Well, that trade can sometimes be the best move. Anyway, the Hawks still down by 15, 2:29 to go.
106-91. The Suns look good. Oh, intentional foul here. Who's it called on? He's going to be called on.
Simon Curl.
Yeah, it looks like it. Simon Curl and Ritter just went for it. Curl went down.
Well, I think
like
Curl,
a sack of potatoes.
Yeah. Ritter's going to set a screen. Let's have a look, see what Curl does approaching the screen. Well, there was a forearm high going into the screen, and then Ritter took exception to it. Scott Butler was right in front of it, and isn't it amazing? Last year, Simon Curl was hated by this crowd. He's now been anointed. He's now the angel. He was booed last year. He's been cheered this time around.
They're very fickle, aren't they, the fans? Same as Grant Kruger. He was detested in this stadium when he played for the Falcons. And when he was getting all those fouls, he was just misunderstood.
But that's the nature of sport and the nature of the following that these people give to their home team.
106.92, 2:25 left to play. Intentional foul, so the Hawks will get possession back. Edwards. Johnson. Edwards for three. It's long. The Suns scrapping and chasing everything. Curl now. Finds it in Rucker. And he just settles it down, the skipper. Looking to use every second of the clock. Rucker for three. Doesn't go. Ritter. The defensive board. Gives it to Johnson now. Ritter for three. Well, the Hawks need a couple of threes to get back into it. They know that. But they're just throwing up everything. Inside to Cooks. He'll go to work on Tyson. Nothing dropping for the Hawks at the moment. Everything going the way of the Suns. There's no doubt it's going to be a Suns victory. It's just a matter of by how much. 106.92 is the score at the moment. Good work from Eric Cooks. Rucker almost getting it back, but it will be a Hawks possession.
Well, the Hawks will shoot quickly. They'll live at the three-point line right now. Having said that, Edwards penetrates, but then again, you read what you've got in front of you. And so I've said this one other game. I think teams sometimes lose sight of the value of the two-point shot when they're chasing. You can come down and shoot 6 threes and make nothing, and you just get further behind. If you make 4 or 5 two-point baskets, you're catching, you're closing the gap.
Well, there's a two-pointer, and it goes straight down for Terry Johnson. 106.94. D'Ambrosis now. Back to Curl. To Tyson. He puts the ball on the floor, Clarence Tyson. Nice play, 108.94. Edwards. Penetrates for two, doesn't go. Gets his own rebound, Edwards. Fighting hard inside there. Tyson to D'Ambrosis, to Rucker. And the foul has been called. And Rucker will go to the charity stripe for 2 shots.
Well, we look at the scoreline here to 108.94. The Suns have been giving up, I think, around 104 points a game for the season. The Hawks 112. And right now, the Suns' defense tonight, keeping the Hawks down under 100, is what enabled them to win this match, particularly as their shooting early in the game was not all that good.
Rucker gets 1 of 2. 109.94. 34 seconds left to play. The Suns are going to win this one and get back in the winners list and retain their spot in the top 6. .7 seconds. The Hawks. Suns still chasing everything. 3-pointer from Terry Johnson is good. Rucker now. So one last shot for the Suns. And Curl. Will it go in? No. And that's it. It's all over. The Suns have won their 3rd game at home. 109-97 over the Illawarra Hawks. A good win. A hard-fought win in the end. David Blades just working in there to try and get an interview with one of the players. Well, that's what they need to do. They've got to win at home, the Suns, and they're doing it well this season so far. Well, Bladesy's in there with the skipper, who had a very big game. Back in form is Derek Rucker. Bladesy,
Got Derek with me. Derek, you have to be very happy with that win after a disappointing weekend last week.
Well, yes, we felt that we played pretty well last weekend, but it was unfortunate that we didn't get anything on the positives out of it. But we came back tonight pretty fired up. I think in the second half we really asserted ourselves and took control of the game.
I guess as far as your standards go, you probably think you've been struggling a little bit earlier in the season. A good step back up to form for you tonight.
Well, yes, I think a few good nights sleep have done me a lot of good, and I'm feeling a lot better now. Still missing free throws, not shooting as well as I'd like to, but you know, I'll take it. It's a win, and the team overall is playing pretty well, and we're 4-3 now, which is the most important thing.
Okay, great. Thanks for your time, Derek. Go and enjoy the win.
Thanks, Blazy. See you.
Okay, back to you, Trevor and Ken after this break.
Putting them back in the winners list after that weekend road trip to Newcastle and Sydney. Trevor, when we have a look at the match stats very shortly, it really didn't show. I mean, it looked a lot closer than it really was in 12 points the difference.
It certainly was, and I think the game panned out the way I expected it to. The Suns ran a lot, and in the end it opened up that way. The big guys on the Hawks team were just simply not able to keep up with the speed of Derek Rucker in particular in the open court.
Obviously foul trouble too. Ritter and Brian Edwards getting into foul trouble for the Illawarra Hawks. Let's have a look at the match stats now, and there they are, 109 to 97. Field shooting percentage very similar. 3-point percentage, well, 29% for the Hawks, and I think Ritter would probably had most of those 3-point shots.
Well, he had a few, and I think he was something like 1 of 6 or 2 of 8, something like that. He didn't make a lot, but when he went back down inside, he certainly played better in there.
Okay, the top scorers, Derek Rucker back in form. He alluded to it in the post-match interview with David Blades, the reason why he hasn't been playing so well. The baby's been keeping him up. Oh, poor fella. That's what happens when you have a baby. Derek Rucker with 26. Tony D'Ambrosio had a very fine game tonight with 23. And Clarence Tyson, 17 points in the end. He only played something like 9 minutes in the first half, but he did come out and I think only got 1 extra foul in that second half. As we said, Ritter with 26 and Matty Zorner 14. A fine effort from particularly Matty Zorner.
Yeah, I like Matt Zorner. He's a big player too with a big future in this league. I think the Hawks did a decent job tonight, but they're just short of being at their best. A little bit of work for Brendan Joyce to do, but I think they'll still be successful this season. Okay, well, the Suns basically want to win as many home games as possible. They're back here at the Furnace Friday night, up against Andrew Gaze, Mark Bradkey and the Melbourne Tigers. Can they beat them? Last time they lost, only narrowly. Bradkey's back. What will happen? Stay tuned. Keep watching Network 10. On behalf of Trevor Roberts, the entire crew, it's been a pleasure. Good night.